story of every single one of the live videos we do. But I lost track of time and I was like, oh no! I was worried I was going to be late. But I made it. Okay, sorry guys. It looks like my camera's just a little dirty, so I'm just going to quickly do a wipe. Okay. I'm still here. That looks a lot better. Yeah, so we don't have any big news. And so I decided, okay, sorry, just one second. Hey, I'm doing the live video. You need to stay out of here. Yeah, so things have been fairly quiet on the farm for big exciting news update type stuff. We've just been doing the Saturday farmers markets, and we have been working on getting everything planted for fall. We're doing the last bit of prepping everything up and planting this week. Ian did the last two beds. The last two beds got prepped, so I need to get out there with my seeder. Being end of August, this is pretty close to kind of the end of when plants go in, because most of the stuff that we grow takes two full months, right? So it's the last little bits and pieces. We have a few more things that will get planted kind of after frost, stuff like our tulip bulbs that will be showing up. But overall, things are slowing down. We're working on the roadside stand. In the video of the weekend farmers market, we show a little update on how it's going, but it's probably taken a couple more weeks. So I didn't have any big specific topic to chat with you guys about. So I figured that it's very intimidating to me to say that I'm going to answer questions in the chat because it's very hard to see. So we just had Pedal Pusher Farm put up a question. Okay, so the format, if you're here and you want to ask a question, put it in all caps so that I can see it quickly. But try not to put other stuff in all caps because it's like almost impossible for me to catch questions when the chat's going by. But we'll just kind of see what I can do. I have about an hour window today, so it needs to be a little bit shorter because I have a bunch of things. Okay. So the question was, do we grow carnations? And the answer is we don't grow any sort of carnations. I've been really focused on growing drought tolerant, kind of shorter season stuff. And carnations, they're not a super easy grow here for me. So they're pretty low on the list. But I'm kind of annoyed with dahlias. Dahlias are great for in the fall, but my dahlias are always like sick and sad. Hey, can you stop pounding on the door? If you need stuff, you have to go ask Daddy. Okay. Okay, I'm doing the live video. You have to bug Daddy today. Yeah. But carnations are something that I would maybe look into, or kind of like asters or mums. He's outside. Go find him outside. Go ask your sister to help you find Daddy. Yeah, so there are a few things that we're maybe trying in future years that'll do better in the fall. I saw slugs. We don't have slugs because we don't have any sort of moisture. There's like no rain, and I'm also, like I said, I'm prioritizing things that are drought tolerant, and part of the reason that we don't have too many slugs is thanks so much, Cheryl. Yeah, it's a fatty cat. Yeah, so we don't really have slugs. Last year was like really wet and really cool, and we did have a little bit of slugs that were into the lettuce and some of our, more susceptible to slugs type stuff. But in general, you know, we don't really complain about bugs at all. Our biggest pest here is grasshoppers, because of the fact that it's so dry. They, you know, they really thrive in the dry. And we have really, really, really bad grasshoppers. I've come to realize, seeing what other people consider, bad grasshoppers. But you know, we deal. There's going to be bugs always. I saw another one. Oh, okay. And so for the questions, because I'm trying to queue one up. I'm trying to see one and then queue it up to answer when I finish. But so you can keep like posting me questions to like keep like dinging it for me. If I don't answer your question. So I saw one about if we grow dianthus. You know, and so last year I did, I tried to overwinter some Sweet William, and it didn't really do anything. But I don't think that I'd grow, because isn't dianthus carnations? There's like the two dianthus, like it can either be like the Sweet William form or it could be more like the carnation, and those are both dianthus, I think. But yeah, the Sweet William, it never grew. I don't know what happened to it. I thought that I was like, oh, the dianthus is doing so good. And then a weed bloomed instead. So what I thought looked like Sweet William was a weed, which I gladly used. It was like this pretty little yellow filler. It actually worked quite well, in the way that dianthus was supposed to kind of pop up and be a little bit of a filler for the tulips. But you know, it's not high on my priority list considering I tried it and I didn't get a single one. Maybe in the future, because it is something that is potentially will overwinter here. No, I'm trying to think. Okay, and then guys, if it's a question, put it in capitals. What would I do differently if I started over again? I would put my infrastructure in place a little bit earlier. I would prioritize maybe less focus on sales, and I'd put more focus in on, okay, you have to go find Daddy. There's nothing I can do for you. Daddy was supposed to be coming in to make you dinner any second, so go outside and find him. He's just finished. He's probably just raking the compost or something. Okay, out of here, please. Children, they're crazy today. Yeah, so basically it's just everything's easier if you have the infrastructure. You know, and this year I've been like, it would be really nice to have more of the infrastructure done, right? We're on year 3, and it would have been nice to have had it by now, even if it meant selling a little bit less last year. Someone asked, do we compost? And yep, but we compost in the laziest technique ever. And that is, I just dump everything in a pile. And so it does make great compost. All the compost that we use on the farm, we buy in. We buy in like organic compost. So, you know, there's no weed seeds in it. All of my compost, because it's basically a cold compost, it doesn't kill any of the weed seeds. So, you know, like, obviously I'm not going to waste all that plant matter, give it away or something. I'm always putting it back in. But yeah, the compost that you see us using is compost that we buy, because I could make a couple yards of compost a year, but we use about 40 yards of compost. We get like 2 dump trucks full of compost every year. We do not have the lily beetle, as far as I know. If we have it, I haven't seen it. And I haven't heard people in the Okanagan talking about it, so I don't know. I don't think we have it yet, but I mean, I'm sure it's coming. Let's see. Where are your veggies at? Did you plant for the fall? Yep, we got some we got some of the last. I got my kale and my Swiss chard in, and then my last seeds are going, like some of them are in and some of them are going. So I'm doing another round of carrots, which will make like some little tiny baby carrots, which will be good snacking stuff. And then I have some greens I'll put in. I probably will do some baby kale. I'll do mustard again. And I'll do some maybe some lettuce, like as like a baby green. And then head lettuce and sunflowers. That's the last thing. Someone asking about Echinacea. I love Echinacea. It's beautiful. I can't do it. I can't grow it because of the fact that we have so many grasshoppers that they spread the Astor's yellow disease really, really badly. So I'm fine with having the Rudbeckia because the Rudbeckia I grow as an annual. So, at this point, probably about 10% of my Rudbeckia has the Astor's yellow disease. If I was to put Echinacea in, I'd cry because they're expensive. And basically the entire crop would be diseased within 2 years. So until the grasshoppers are better, I'm not going to do it. Someone's asking where Ian is, and he's just been working the last couple weeks. We've been trying to divide and conquer for the live video. They're tricky with the kids. This is kind of in the window for when the kids start to come and yell at us in anticipation for bedtime coming. So they want to keep us busy, so we forget that it's bedtime. But yeah, no, he's around. He just we've been busy. We've been trying to get stuff done on the Monday nights. Though things might be a little bit better once school gets in. Okay, beans. I saw a few about beans. So we did an experiment with beans this year. We did Hunter, and then for the life of me, I can't remember what the other one is. But it's like a French bean style. So the Hunter bean is not bad. It's like a pole bean. It's like a big one, and I lost track of it. So I was like, you know what? It can just do its thing. The pole beans always make like big beans that are pretty good for doing as like a dried bean. So like I'll harvest them in October when everything's kind of finished for myself. And then the French style beans there was like something wrong with them. I think that there's a chance that our irrigation was messed up. And so we had, because it was on the very outside edge. So I think maybe it wasn't getting enough water. So I don't think it was getting enough water, and so it didn't really do anything. And then it finally started producing. But yeah, it's I'm like, whatever. The reason why I did beans is I didn't want to take the trellises down because they were up and I was too lazy to take them down. But I'd been growing tomatoes on there 2 years in a row, and so the ground just needed a rest. So no matter what, even if the beans are just a cover crop, they serve their purpose. We've eaten them, so we haven't brought them down to market. I think we sent the Hunter ones down once. And then they didn't really sell. No one was super excited about them. Okay, so I saw questions about Dahlias. Thank you so much, Black Dog. That's really kind of you. Okay, sorry, distracted. What was I saying? Dahlias. Okay, so the grasshoppers that are saying cause all these disease issues are what I think the dahlias are getting like double sadness. They're getting sad, first of all, because it's like 800% full sun at my house. And then, dahlias, they like drainage. They're like really susceptible to rotting from getting too much water, but I think that they like to be a lot wetter. I don't think that they actually are like a good drought tolerant plant. So I think they're not getting enough water, and therefore they're not thriving for me. And then the grasshoppers come and they attack them, and then they get diseased, right? So at this point, and I don't know, I have no idea what is wrong with them. I know that it's not like the tubers came diseased, because I start my tubers ahead of time. And they were happy. They were fine. I get a few every year that have some disease, but because I start them in the pots, I just dispose of them. because I buy all my tubers wholesale. Because every year I try to overwinter them and I fail miserably because it's so dry. They just shrivel up here. And I haven't figured out the trick to get them to survive. But yeah, so at this point, almost all of my dahlias are just like sad and diseased looking. So I will not be saving those tubers, right? Like I'm not gonna waste my time lifting those up and trying to overwinter them just to plant them back in and have like diseased plants growing again. It's kind of like what I was saying about the Echinacea. Within 2 years, it's completely diseased. It's completely gone from the grasshoppers. And I think that's kind of the issue with the dahlias. So I'm gonna say, like, the dahlias are a pain in the butt. For me to buy the tubers wholesale, I'm trying to remember like the cost. I like crunched the numbers. I crunched the numbers for what I need to sell them. I need to sell them for $12, which I think that's what I sold them for. I need to sell the plants for $12 to be able to cover my cost and then make a little bit of money. But they cost a little bit less than that for me. And the tuber itself is not even a huge amount of the cost. The price is like really reasonable on the wholesale that I get. But I will say this. If I was, so like I'm saying, I sell full plants for $12. If I was to like go online and try to buy a dahlia tuber from a retail, like, the Dahlia store. And if the Dahlia store is a real store, I'm not saying them, I'm like saying pretend, thedahliastore.com. This isn't a real place. But I go there and like the tubers cost $10 or $15 each. Buying them wholesale, it's way less money than that. That's like, there's a lot of markup when you're buying those. So even though when you buy a couple from like an online place, it can be really, you can easily spend $15 and get only a handful of dahlias. I spend $50 and, I get I fill one of my beds with them, right? So, so in general, they're not that expensive. So I have been thinking, right, because a lot the work of working with the plants is quite often more expensive than the wholesale cost of buying the plants for me, right, from the farm perspective, right? Because basically, if I can't make so much money on growing dahlias that I can afford to buy new tubers every year, then the dahlias are probably not something I should be growing. If I put new tubers in every year, the work of the dahlias is just digging a hole, putting the tuber in, right? And there is also the work of like having to order them and having to like receive them from like the shipper, and like put the box in my garage and then pull the box out when I plant it. But if I'm saving dahlias, now the workload is massive, right? Because now in the fall, I have to dig them up, I have to clean them off, I have to put them into storage. Even just the cost of storage. Did you go talk to Daddy?
No.
Okay, I can't do anything for you. You have to go talk to Daddy, okay? And you can't come in here and just yell at me, all right? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, you can hang out in here, but you can't be yelling at me.
I was hungry.
Then you have to go find Daddy. Okay?
Uh-huh.
So the cost of storage is huge, right? I mean, like think about, so the way that the wholesale companies have these like beautiful dahlias is they keep them in a fridge, right? I feel like, unless I was like talking about storing like a couple thousand dahlias, even just the cost of like running a fridge over the winter would like, for me to save 100 dahlia plants, just the cost of the electricity really offsets the cost of having to buy them, without even factoring in how much work. It's like an entire day to go pick them out of the ground, wash them off, get them loaded up. If I'm not saving my tubers, then I don't have to do any of that. What we're gonna do this year is we're gonna like get the lawnmower, mow the plants down, and then Ian's just gonna take the tiller and he's gonna chop up all those tubers in the ground, and they can be organic matter that gets mixed back into our soil, and I don't have to deal with them at all. If I could grow them better, you can make money on the dahlias by growing them. You grow them, the cut flowers pay for the cost of like the labor to grow them. And then you have the second crop, the second harvest of you lift the plants out, and then you sell your plants when you divide them, right? So, with dahlias, I think a lot of farms, even though there's so much work, so, the amount of stems that you maybe get off of a dahlia doesn't make a lot of sense, for how much work they are. You make a lot of money on the tuber cost itself, and so that makes the numbers make more sense. But every single farm is different because every single farm is dealing with different conditions. So I'm sure there's like a million farms out there that make crazy money on dahlias, whereas like as far as I can tell, there's like it just doesn't make sense for me to grow them. So it's all relative. So fires. Okay, first I'll answer, is the walk-in cooler fixed? No, the walk-in cooler isn't fixed. We're having like issues. We have 2 air conditioners that have been, we ordered an air conditioner like 2 weeks ago when the walk-in cooler broke. And then we also ordered an air conditioner like a month ago, or more than a month ago, when we first started talking about building this roadside stand. So we had an air conditioner on its way, and both of them are like completely lost. And like, the other one was supposed to show up like a month ago, and the one that I ordered to fix the walk-in cooler was supposed to be here on Wednesday to like, be here in time for the market. So I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that the walk-in cooler isn't working. But yeah, annoying. The fire. Okay, so the fire that is near us is really big, and it's like super out of control. How big is it? It's like 800 square kilometers now is like the number that I saw. And apparently we have like 8,000 square kilometers burning in BC, to put the fire in context. So like all of British Columbia is on fire. It's like insane. The fires are just insane this year. It's a really bad fire year. And the fire that's near us is 10% of the land mass of all the fires, right? So it's a really big fire. Yeah, so it's currently not contained, but we've had good weather the last little bit. For the fire, we're having colder than average temperatures. Last night it got down to 5 degrees Celsius, which is like that's crazy. I was like, oh my god, we're gonna like have a frost in August. Tonight's supposed to be like, the forecast said 10. Ian's here to say hi. The forecast said it was going to be 10, and it got down to 5. Tonight's supposed to get forecasting 7. So I'm like, what if it's like 2? I don't know. I'm paranoid. This year, all bets are off. This year, for sure, I could see us getting a frost in August. Like, why not? And then it'll be like 35 in January.
Yeah. Probably.
I'm doing questions. But one of the questions was, where's Ian?
Oh, I'm right here. Yeah. I was harvesting the Dimas. I know. I want some of those for dinner.
Yeah.
We cooked some a little while ago. Sometimes it's like, oh, this good thing, it's in season.
Brought garlic.
For a short period of time. And then, we're so busy with everything that you're like, oh my god, we didn't even eat any. So I think we only had like Dimas once this year, and then my favorite zucchini. So like, I've been thinking about them.
I know there's like, I don't think we've eaten other than chopping up bell peppers as like snacks for the kids. I don't think we've done anything with like the bell peppers.
No,
Yeah,
but
this is like the first year we had bread.
I've eaten a bunch of them like apples.
Okay, that's good.
I eat them at the markets, and I eat them when I'm harvesting, and I eat them when I'm walking around the farm. Is it normal to have a lot of fires? Yeah, but these are big fires. These are bigger than normal fires. Like we had, I think we had like 800,000 hectares of land burn this year. There's just some like there's some fire, like the fires have kind of died down a bit around a city close to us called Merritt, and they were doing some like overhead flybys footage of it. It was just like, super sad. Just really quite devastated. So, we always have fires, but they're just usually the fire season kind of like really gets going later in August, and then the cold weather comes, and then it stops.
Yeah, but normally August and September. But
this year's fire season was 3 weeks ahead of normal, so that's a lot of extra time with that full on dry forest, hot summer days time. Yep. Other than that, I was writing a bit. I had some inspiration with.
Ian's making jokes in his head. Okay, tell us your joke.
Well, I can't because then I'll ruin it for the video. It's for the Halloween video.
Well, you can tell them then. No one's gonna remember.
People will remember.
I thought
it's possibly it's pretty ridiculous.
Okay, well, first of all, everyone should go and watch last year's Halloween video because that one's one of our favorites for sure.
It was so
it's
fun.
all funny.
Yeah, well, it's a bit spooky too. We found this song that I was like, oh my god, this is like a Stranger Things song, because we just use the YouTube Studio free music for all of our music, and I was going through that, and I found this like perfect little like techno thing that sounded just like the Stranger Things, and then Serena did this hilarious like
we did a Rocky Horror Picture Show intro
where she dressed up like
as the narrator.
Yeah. Like the old guy with like the curly gray hair and a maniacal laugh. But
I thought the plan for this year is that we're doing Blair Witch.
Yeah, we're talking
Blair Witch Harvest.
Yeah, but this is just one little tiny bit.
Are we still thinking we're gonna do Blair Witch Harvest?
Well, I think we have to do something fun.
Yeah. So last year we made the Halloween video for the Halloween market because I think the Halloween was the Sunday, but you went dressed up on the Saturday, right? Is that what happened?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but so it came out like the week after Halloween.
Yeah.
And we should obviously make the Halloween video.
We have to make it
before so that it's there for Halloween.
Totally.
To give everyone something to watch in anticipation of Halloween.
Oh, this bit that I wrote is so stupid. It's so funny.
You're teasing us so much, Ian.
Well, you'll get to know soon. Okay, I gotta go.
Yeah, this child has come in 800 times and told me that he's hungry.
Oh yeah, like we haven't said it like a million times already.
Yeah, we quite often like. Can you close the door? We feed them like right before the live video because we know that they're gonna say that they're hungry the second we do the live video, and then they come running in. Okay, so finally, I've seen it a bunch of times. Sorry that it keeps going out of my head. Head lettuce. We normally sell head lettuce. We normally have because every 2 weeks I'm planting lettuce. I am still doing it. I'm doing good. But it's not surviving. The heat and everything this year is just insane. And I need shade cloth, basically. My plan is we are gonna have an entire greenhouse whose entire purpose is to grow lettuce. and it's going to have shade cloth on it so that our lettuce will be able to grow a lot better in the heat of the summer. But yeah, so we haven't had any lettuce. We haven't had head lettuce or salad mix for the last, I don't know, at least a month. I think that we stopped doing lettuce when I was not feeling good. I think when I started, there was still lettuce, I think, that when for like the first 2 weeks after I had the issue going to the hospital. But then by the time I was like feeling better and I got out there, the next round of lettuce was like, it wasn't. I was like, don't even, just like leave it. Which is a lot of the lettuce, if you've been watching the recent videos, all the lettuce greenery that I've been using, all the bolted lettuce, that's the lettuce that I was like, no, don't touch it. Hopefully the succession's coming, we'll do better. And even the baby lettuces that we were planting out, they didn't do well. But I'm hoping in about 2 weeks I'll have lettuce again. And then so the way we do salad mix in the peak of the summer is that we grow head lettuce, right? We grow the Salanova as head lettuce. We pick the heads out of the farm, chop it into salad mix, right? So we always do have head lettuce down at the market. We sell the head lettuce $3 or 2 for $5, and you're always getting more lettuce if you buy the head lettuce than what is in the salad mix bags, because we sell the salad mix bags for $5. And we do that, first of all, because salad mix is a pain in the butt, so you have to pay for us to like chop it up and wash it and all that. And 2, we would much prefer if people were buying head lettuce, because it's like zero waste, right? Everyone who's like, oh, I want zero waste salad mix, we're like, we got you, head lettuce. Take it home, chop it up, keeps great. People in general aren't sold on that idea yet, but it is the solution. So yes, we do have a head lettuce. We don't right now. Australian yellow. I think I tried that and it's not great. I think it works good as a baby green, but it is definitely not. The most heat tolerant varieties, because I've been testing, can't remember off the top of my head, right? Because the Salanova isn't bad, but the Salanova is more cold hardy than it is heat tolerant. And then it's bolt resistant, right? So I like the Salanova because it doesn't, because we get this, like, it's spring and then like the next day it's summer. And so the Salanova, like tons and tons of varieties are like, oh, well, perfect, I like bolted overnight. And the Salanova doesn't do that, right? So we don't have to worry about like hitting a wall of lettuce with it. But I think the variety was Sierra. I think that's the one that I found that did the best. Nevada. I think they're called like Batavia varieties. Because I tested them, they're from the Johnny's Summer Crisp series. And Muir is like another one from it. And Muir does really well in the heat. And then this other one, which is, it's kind of pinky, right? Because the Muir Pure Green, and then I'm pretty sure it's Sierra is like the most heat tolerant, and then it has a little bit of color. But I haven't been able to find a red that really does well. So that's what I do. I switch to the Muir and this Sierra for the heat of the summer. And then I switch back into the Salanova. I switched back to Salanova at this point, beginning of August, right? So, because anything I'm planting out in beginning of August, because it takes 2 months, means that I want it ready for end of September in case we have a frost, because the Salanova is, it's a little bit it's more frost tolerant than some other varieties. Let's see, there was one, fell out of my head. Do you work to a routine or list each week, and does it change weekly? That's a good question. Okay, that one will take a little bit of time. But I saw, I'm now remembering, and I think this maybe answers the other one that just came up, about wholesale seeds. So we buy all of our stuff from Johnny's Seeds, but you don't need to make a wholesale account with Johnny's to get, you get a deal the bigger your seed packet is, right? So if you're growing lots of something, you get a deal. If you're only buying the small retail pack, it's priced as what it is. And at this point, we buy almost everything from Johnny's. I like how quick, like in my opinion, a lot of seed companies have like really, really disappointed me with the COVID. And I understand that it is a struggle. And I also think that there is some space, like so Geo Seeds isn't a company that's disappointed me with COVID, but through COVID, I've decided to not shop with Geo Seeds because their like lead time is like 4 months or so, and I have been having so many issues with shipping, and like this is like our specific area has been having, if people order something the same time as me to Kelowna, which is like the the city that we live in, mine will show up 2 weeks later. There's an issue somewhere in Kelowna. Our stuff has just been like really delayed, and we've been having some stuff just having issues. So I need extra buffer because GeoSeeds is a wholesale company. I think they're in North Carolina, so they're down in the States. But they sell to wholesale flower farms, right? And which is amazing. Oh my God, their list is like incredible. And they're great to shop from. But yeah, because they're wholesale, people like, I was kind of talking about this, I think, in the flower farm video, the flower farm live video, which is you're thinking like almost a year in advance on the farm, both in the flowers and in the veggies, right? I'd say I think longer term in the flowers than I even do in the veggies, right? I'm more likely to buy my seeds for the summer now in flowers than I am in veggies, because maybe there's some things for the flowers that I need to start super early. Whereas with veggies, the most fussy, difficult stuff is the tomatoes and the peppers, and even that's like beginning of March. So for GeoSeeds, they sell to flower farmers. They need a longer lead time. It's the same as, so the place that I buy my Dahlia tubers, and I know someone else I think was asking where I get my lily bulbs from, and my perennials. What else do I get from them? Yeah, like all my dahlias, like they sell peonies. So the source that I get those kind of like wholesale flower plants instead of seeds is Van Noort, and they're a Canadian company, but they're only wholesale. But they have like a pretty reasonable wholesale minimum. So flower farmers can order from them. It's not like you have to like be a nursery company in order to order from them. Yeah, so that's where I get my lilies and all my plant stuff. But even that, so I got my perennial catalog in. I should have brought it to show it off to you guys. Maybe I'll bring it for the next live video, and we can flip through it, and that can be the subject. Like, watch me obsess about the perennials I want to buy. Serena makes a mental wish list live video. But so what am I saying? I need to order soon, like, within the next couple weeks, my plants that will be getting shipped out in the spring, right? So that's like 6 months ahead. right? And so geoseeds is the same kind of idea. Where if you're in the flower farmer routine, you're going to be buying your seeds quite far ahead. So the lead time that you need to get your flower seeds is reasonable if you're on the ball. In general, for flowers, I haven't been on the ball enough to feel like buying from geoseeds has made sense for me, because I'm also not buying anything special. Geoseeds is incredible because they have like everything you could ever imagine, but I'm buying like really just like generic stuff, and stuff that's like not super expensive. So in general, everything I want in flowers is available from Johnny Seeds. There's some stuff, like the one thing about being a flower farm versus like a home garden flower, cut flower grower, is I really, really want individual colors, right? I don't want mixed Bennery's Giant, even though I do have a bed that is mixed Bennery's Giant. I want individual colors planted all together just to make it easier for my workflow for picking, and right, because if we pick it all into one bucket, it's all the same color. So then when I go to arrange, it's already all in the same color. Just buying individual colors makes it so that when I harvest, it is already into individual colors, so there's not an extra step of having to pre-sort for speed of efficiency when making bouquets. I don't know if that makes sense. Oh, we got a question here from Vijay. Thanks. As a farmer's son, enjoy your videos. August 21 was the biggest flower sale date in which people in state of Kerala buy flowers to create artwork. Flowers are heat tolerant. Oh, that's cool. That's really fun. I think I'm gonna assume that that's like India, because I know we have like a bunch of the audience that's in India, and I see some of these like incredible flower farmer videos, sometimes from Indian farms, and it's like amazing. Like it'll be like, oh, here's an entire acre of celosia, and it's like the most beautiful, perfectly grown celosia ever, and all the marigolds. I'm always like, because I love marigolds. Marigolds make me so happy. And so I'm doing a test on them this year. And I was like nervous because like lots of people are like, oh, marigolds, they're stinky. And so I was worried that the customers wouldn't love them as much as I love them, because I like the smell. I love the smell of the marigolds. But people have actually really liked the marigolds down at the farmer's market. So that made me happy that everyone likes the marigolds. Okay, so what was I saying? So individual colors, they're available at Johnny Seeds. Anything that I want individual colors on, Johnny Seeds has had it. Like this year, like I've been really happy with status. So I want to grow more status next year, so I'm gonna want it in individual colors. And I'm pretty sure Johnny's has it in all the colors. I feel like, the first year that I went to buy, there was more mixed packs. And they've really, they have such a great selection for cut flowers. I feel like they've heard, they got their ear to the ground. They're on top of all the trends. And so they know everyone wants, all the farmers are growing more of the cut flowers. It makes so much sense to grow them when you do like a market garden, just to have them for your stand. They improve your pollination, and just having flowers to sell along with your veggies is, it doesn't have to be as complicated as we make it for it to make a lot of sense for the businesses. So I really like Johnny Seeds. And then we used to buy from William Dam, because they're in Canada. So it made like some of the stuff was a better deal, because then when we buy from Johnny Seeds, we have to pay for shipping, and the shipping, the international shipping is expensive because it's in American dollars, And then like with the conversion, the shipping actually ends up costing a lot of money. So I always make sure to only do, kind of make as few orders as possible to make it so that the shipping cost makes sense. So I used to buy from William Dam, but they've just been so unreliable through all the COVID stuff that, I can't shop with them anymore. And like in general, I'm just so happy with Johnny's that they're kind of the only person that I want to recommend to anyone anymore. Plus the fact that, they're so great for so many different, like if you are an international customer, if Johnny's isn't gonna be able to do it for you, the odds are that like you're gonna have a hard time finding a company that will, if you're one of the places that Johnny's doesn't ship to, I apologize. And like if Johnny's doesn't ship to you, no other international company is going to. The free shipping for Johnny's is only for American customers. We're in Canada, so we have to, it's different shipping type situation. Yeah. Okay. So before I started talking about seeds, which was supposed to be a quick one, classic. You guys can't ask me about seeds. You know that I can talk further. I could literally talk until I die about seeds and never run out of things to say. So the question that I was going to answer was the question about the schedule. And like this is a great question because this is a question that we don't necessarily get asked. Okay, I saw this a couple times. We don't grow cabbage. We don't grow anything other than kale in the brassica family because it's so hot and dry that anything in the brassica family gets attacked by aphids. I have tried a few personal cabbage plants for myself in part shade, and they've done okay, but there's no way we can make it work on a farm scale. Okay, so we make the videos that we make are always about us harvesting to sell at the Saturday farmers market. And quite often what you're seeing in those videos is either Friday and Saturday, or if we're like on the ball and like remember to pull out the camera, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is usually what we're showing. And we also, we're doing a lot more work than what we show on the camera. Obviously, we film certain sections of the harvest, because it'll be like, the zinnias look so amazing this week. Let's film harvesting zinnias because of the fact that they look so good. Everyone should see how amazing they look, right? We kind of pick whatever looks the best to show. And then we'll go and we'll grab the camera, and we don't even film the entire harvest. We usually when, for the zinnia example, I'll harvest a little bit of one color, and then we'll move on and harvest a little bit of another color, and then we'll harvest a little bit of another color. Ian and I might spend 30 or 40 minutes filming harvesting zinnias, whereas I could be out there for 4 hours harvesting zinnias when they're at the peak, and it's oh my god, there's so many zinnias. And then it would be the next week we'd be well, we showed harvesting zinnias, so let's show harvesting sunflowers this week. But every week we harvest zinnias, right? Even if we don't show it, we just we pick certain things to show. First of all, so it's not completely repetitive. Obviously, it's still the story of going down to the farmer's market, but we like to show you what's exciting for us every week. But we harvest everything every week, even when it doesn't get showed on the camera. And then lots of people have been well, you have all this extra time because you're only ever showing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You still have all the rest of the week. You should sell stuff here, you should sell stuff there. You know, like everyone's just like, they're always really excited to see, you know, to see us selling. Everyone wants us to thrive, right? So everyone, you know, feels sad for us when we talk about bringing stuff down to the food bank, or, you know, having more flowers than we know what to do with. But, you know, for us, like, you know, it doesn't bother us at all. Like, we're happy to have stuff go to the food bank. And we know there's going to be more flowers than we can use at certain times of the year. We plant for worst case scenario. And then, you know, we get to enjoy best case scenario if it blooms out in the field. So, you know, so we only show a couple days a week. It doesn't mean that we're not doing anything the rest of the week. You know, I cut my finger. I'm making a weird noise because I'm breaking apart garlic bulbs here. But I don't know how I did this, but I jabbed a huge chunk of skin out of my finger. Now it's all like garlicky, so it's burning. It's got the garlic burn. Sorry about being distracted by that. Yeah, okay. But, okay, so the schedule on the farm, even though it's always different, it is pretty kind of regular. So our employee works Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then if she's available, then she also comes on Fridays. Things have been like, you know, it's COVID, right? So she has a young kid who's in daycare, and so there's been a bunch of weeks where you know, because of COVID, like her daycare was shut down for 2 weeks because of COVID, so she had to like stay home with her child. You know, there's been times when, you know, her daughter wakes up and, you know, is like, has a little bit of a runny nose, you know, because it's, you know, so smoky outside. Like, everyone has a runny nose. The daycare is like, no runny noses, you got to stay home. You know, so we're flexible on it. Like, just having her this year has like been incredible. You know, so like when she's here and it's great. When she's not here, you know, we make it work. But so kind of the schedule of if she was here, you know, let's say she's here for, you know, 3.5 days a week. So on Thursday we harvest most of the flowers. When the walk-in cooler is going, we harvest more of the veggies on Thursday. With the walk-in cooler not going, we try to get the flowers done on Thursday and then the food done on Fridays. So we try to do the flowers on Thursday because they do best if they like rest in the water for at least a day. If the flowers are in water for 24 hours before I sell them, the flowers actually do better than if I pick them on Thursday night, and this sounds like so backwards, and I don't 100% know how it works. I think it has something to do with like they take a nap in the water, and so they like kind of like get over the stress and shock before they then get exposed to like the outside temperatures of like going to the market and coming home. But yeah, so if the flowers get harvested on Thursday evening, they do better on Saturday than if we harvest them on Friday evening. So I try to prioritize for that. Right? And so then on Friday we do veggies. Friday evening, I arrange the flowers into bouquets. And Fridays, Ian's basically like in charge of the market at this point. So on Friday, what Ian is doing is he is organizing his, you know, on Fridays is like one of my busiest days. So he's on like full on. Oh, thanks so much. Thanks so much, Lisa. Those stickers, they always make me laugh. Yeah, so on Friday, Ian's like on like kid duty, you know, because I'm pretty busy trying to get all the harvest and everything done. And then Friday evening, I do the flowers. No, best case scenario, I'd be more organized and I'd be arranging flowers Friday day rather than doing it like Friday all night long. But then Ian, he prioritizes trying to get to bed early on Fridays because he wakes up at 4 in the morning on Saturday mornings. And then I keep staying up till 4 in the morning, which everyone's always like feels really bad for me. But I'm a night owl, so it's like my normal go to bed time is kind of like 1 o'clock. So it's not that, 1 o'clock's like, oh, I got to bed at like a normal time. 2 o'clock's like, oh, I got to bed a little bit late. Like I'm not like dying going to bed at 2 because I sleep in, right? I'm always like, for customers, I'm like, I'm available anytime after 10, right? Because that means I can go to bed at 2 in the morning and get 8 hours of sleep and then get up for customers at 10 o'clock. So like, don't feel overly bad about me going to bed at 4 in the morning. But yeah, so I get up, I deal with the kids on Saturday. Ian's at the market. Ian gets home around 3 from the market. And then he goes to bed. He comes home, he unpacks everything, and then he takes a nap. Because he got up at 4 in the morning. So makes sense. And then Saturdays are like pretty much like a write-off. I have people come by the farm sometimes on Saturdays, but in general, the days that are busy for people, like customers popping in at the farm, are Thursdays and Fridays. Those are the days when people are most likely to come looking for stuff. Yeah. And then so Sunday, we usually are, it'll be like a quiet day because we're still a little bit tired. But quite often on Sunday, that'll be the point at which the zucchinis and the cucumbers need to get harvested again. They'll kind of have been like harvested on Thursday. So it'll be like time for me to like get in there and pick them. So I harvest because they need like 2 harvests a week. And then we do some cleanup from like the market because everything's usually like chaos. But that's usually like, that's kind of our day off. And then Monday is also kind of like a half day for us where we do like bits and pieces, cleanup. If there's like projects that we're working on, that like Monday is a good day for that. On Monday, we're usually one of us, either Ian or me, depending on the projects that need to get done, will be working on the video. So Ian was doing like a bunch of bed prep last week. So, on Monday I worked on the video. Today Ian was doing some work for me. So I worked on the video. And then so Tuesday is like kind of that's like our Monday. That's like the first day of the week that the employee's back. And so usually Ian is editing the video and like dealing with the kids. And then if we have like a project that needs to get like worked on, right? If like Tuesday will be like the farm's a mess, we need to do a big weed. Me and the employee will work. She quite often comes and she just like gets work done on like cleanup. On Tuesdays she will like wash buckets from leftover from the flowers. Quite often I haven't fully dealt with the flowers that were left over from the market. So she'll like hang up all the leftovers to dry for me. So Tuesday's kind of like a farm cleanup day. Last week, good example, we tried to get a bunch of seedlings planted, so Tuesdays are the day that's like perfect for like doing a project. And then Wednesday, it's kind of like harvesting. We do like more harvest, more cleanup. We get working on that kind of stuff. And then Thursday, back again, harvesting flowers, harvesting some of the veggies, and then, so Tuesdays is our like planting day, right? So we're like always, it's like there's quite often planting to get done on Tuesday. But yeah, there's always weeding. There's always, the employee, her routine too is like she likes on Tuesday mornings to do the greenhouse. She likes to do it first thing when she gets here because it's like the greenhouse is super hot. So every week she does a prune on the tomatoes, right? Because the tomatoes just get insane if you don't keep on top of them. So that's kind of the schedule. I don't know if that if that kind of answers the question. So we're always doing stuff here. It's just, we don't show it very often on the videos because the, work like weeding and like planting seedlings it's a little bit slower paced. It's a little bit less exciting than getting to harvest everything. I mean, we love harvesting everything. So, okay. What flowers am I planning to overwinter this year? So I have big plans. I did filming. I was like, I'm gonna make a video all about cool flowers, overwintering flowers. So last year, like this time last year, I started filming for a video that I was like, I'm gonna film for 6 months and then I'll like finally edit it. So I have everything filmed. I should really put it together. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm like, what do I have to do this week? I should maybe try to do it this week and like get it done, right? Because now's the time, like it's appropriate to be asking this question. This is the perfect time to be asking that. Now would be the perfect time to be able to show everyone what I did, so that they could replicate it. Okay. If I wasn't talking to you guys on my phone, I totally would like text myself a note, be like, make that video. Okay. So yeah, team the employee. She deserves her own shirt for sure. So last year, what I experimented with overwintering, I had my small greenhouse, which we took out. It's like gone. And I knew I wasn't going to be growing in it this year. I knew we were going to be taking it out, so I didn't mind overwintering flowers in it, because it was going to be unused space. So in it, what I planted was I planted snapdragons, and I did them as seedlings, but they were like little seedlings. I think I started them mid-August, and then I planted them out in like the first week of, or no, like second week of September. So kind of like around September 10th is when I planted them out. And they were really small and really sad looking. But I knew that they had some time to grow and get rooted in before the cool weather came. So I wasn't too worried about them. And then Sam's bag. You gonna peel garlic with me? You're gonna help? Sam's my helper. He's the one most likely to actually come and peel garlic with me. Go, make space for you. You wanna sit? You gotta take this. But you gotta put it back in the bucket. Okay, so the snapdragons I did as seedlings. And then I put in the Sweet William, which I talked about earlier, and it didn't do anything. So that was a failed experiment. And then I did a bed of bachelor buttons, which obviously overwintered, no problem. Oh, and so the only thing I did, this is last year's experiment. So the only thing that I did as seedlings was the snapdragons. Everything else direct seeded into the ground. And it was in around that same time. It was like in September that I direct seeded them. Okay, so bachelor buttons, no problem. And then I also had, brain farting on the name because it didn't work. Someone just sent me an Instagram message to remind me to edit the video. Thank you. So I don't know why I'm brain farting on this. It's like a filler. It's like a little yellow flower on like a light green leaf. And it's like,
Mommy,
it's totally like a
do
cool
this?
spring one. I know it's hard. You kind of have to use your fingernails to get it. It's a tricky one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know. It's it's not I can't for the life of me I can't remember what it was. But it didn't work out. The variety name was Graffiti.
I used my.
Thank you. Yes,
my
Megan
two
has it.
fingers.
The plural. I think that's how you pronounce it. So I did that. That didn't work. But I totally would like to have that because that, like, you know, the chartreusey stuff and the little yellow flowers. That's like my favorite. That's like my favorite look for a filler.
Oh, mommy.
Purple room.
Hey,
Circle
mommy.
room.
No white.
Oh, you're getting it. Good job, Sam. Yeah, so I did that. It didn't do anything. But yet again, so in the spot that I had it, I had something growing, and I'd never really done the buplorum before, so I didn't know what to expect. And so there was like this little frilly green, and I was like, oh, perfect, it's the buplorum coming up. Oh, sorry, distracted. Green brain celosia. I think I need that. That would be incredible. Yeah, so I thought it was buplorum coming up. What it actually was larkspur.
This actually a stout from it.
I know. The larkspur did like super good, right? I was all excited thinking I was going to have this like amazing bed of buplorum. But instead I had this amazing bed of larkspur, larkspur, I'm like, meh. You know, it's all like frilly and fluffy. You know, Ian and I have this.
I'm getting it.
You're doing so good, Sam. Thanks for being a helper. Yeah, Ian and I have this running gag because I don't like the cottagey, fluffy, you know, like really romantic flowers. You know, like the cosmos. I'm always like making cosmos, man, who likes that? And we joke that I like the brutalist flowers, like brutalism, like hard concrete lines. But yeah, so the larkspur.
Oh, Mommy, I found this one.
That'll be a good one. Yeah, that'll be a good one. I think I broke them all into singles. Yeah, so the larkspur, I was really happy to have it. It actually it complemented the other things that came up early really well. The larkspur was like really good with like the feverfew, and I had this like little like daisy weed thing, you know, and like a lot of those like early spring fillers, and then it like dries so good.
I found deep first.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Sam. So I'm gonna be growing it forever from now on, even if all I do with it is dry it, because it makes such an excellent dried flower, which I never expected. But yeah, so you know, I mean, I do all these like really hard line, you know, tight flowers in general. So I'm not too surprised that when I do those fluffy type things that they don't sell as well, because I've obviously established a customer who likes the specific look. You know, and the larkspur is so different from that look. But as I have more customers for flowers, I'll have more space for different looks, right? So.
And Mommy, you know, soon you get that to show more beds here.
I know. Sam's very excited about the farm stand. He's saying soon I'll be able to sell more flowers and more veggies in there, right?
No. The other side, no, be the door too.
I know, 2 doors. A door for us and a door for the customers.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, we do a tour of the layout of the farm stand in the video that we're editing. And I think the video it's gonna come out, I don't know. It's a little bit easier to edit this week. We might actually get this one out for Wednesday, depending on how busy
Mommy.
we are. Yeah, okay, so I'm getting like super off track. I'm like talking about everything. But what I'm trying to... That's perfect, Sam. You stick it in even if there's a little bit. That works great. I'm not getting all of mine off either. Okay. I'm getting distracted telling you everything that I grew last year and how the sales went on it.
I did this one.
What the question was what flowers should you guys be planning to plant now? So yeah, basically, so I'm zone 5B USDA, right? So that gives you, and that is like how cold the winter gets, right? So like I feel pretty confident to say, unless you deal with like lots of moisture, if you're just dealing with cold, because things
I'm
rotting.
working on this one now.
Perfect. Things rotting in the field are a little bit of a different issue. We never.
Mommy,
Yeah.
This,
Perfect. You want me to hold it? Okay, I got it. Things rotting in the field we don't have to deal with because we don't get water ever here. So you might have to, have raised beds, right? Like you might need, if you want to do overwintering flowers and you get lots of water, you might need to do the, in-field raised beds so that, there's drainage. They drain out into the paths. But yeah, excellent success on the snapdragons, covered.
This
But
one got 2 shots.
yeah,
Rated.
I know. But I'm
This one's too
going
hard.
to do an experiment.
Is that too hard for you?
Just a little loud, and then you have to sit back because the camera is still going.
Is that too garlicky?
It's too garlicky for you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
This
fine.
button here
Okay,
instead.
Yeah. So the snapdragons covered, right? And when I say like a greenhouse, it's like a high tunnel. I'm sure if all you did is cover it with like a low tunnel, you'd have the same success with the snapdragons. I'm not sure about uncovered because I've never had snapdragons survive the winter for me. Usually we get like a cold spell that comes through, and all the snapdragons, like my rocket snapdragons, because rocket is like super cold hardy. The rocket snapdragons will be like having some green. The plants won't be 100% dead, and then usually I'll get like -25, and that will wipe them out. But they might be a little bit hardy if they're the baby plants, right? So this year I bought a big packet of rocket snapdragons because snapdragons drive me crazy. They're like a pain in the butt to like handle. They're like dust. And I don't like doing seedlings. If I can direct seed something, amazing. But like some of the snapdragons are a little bit expensive.
I know this off for you.
Perfect. But the rocket snapdragons, Johnny's had like a mixed. I bought like a 5,000 pack, and I feel like it was like $50. And I was like, you know what? If this works, it's worth like $50 for me, not to have to do
Mommy, I got the idea.
So,
for all the finished started.
okay, perfect.
But put them in here.
Oh, okay,
The
sure.
finished.
Okay, you find the finished ones for me. So
And here the
yeah. So what I'm
two.
gonna do is okay. Here, put it in my hand. I'm going to direct seed snapdragon seeds to like soon, probably like beginning of September.
I wanted this on.
To germinate,
I
and
want
then
this on for you.
okay, perfect. But it's just not quite so loud. Okay. To try to overwinter them uncovered and see how they do. I think there's a chance. It's an experiment. It's like I'm 50-50 on it.
I put it right here.
But I'm willing to take the risk because if I have.
put them on the. I find any models for you.
Okay, so I'm getting distracted because this is like a good question. People never talk about this. So the Canada growing zones are completely different than the American growing zones. I always say the American growing zone because it makes me feel sad if I have to say the Canadian one, because the number is one higher, and then everyone is like, oh, well, I can grow this in zone 6. And I'm like, yeah, USDA zone 6, but like you can't grow it in like Canada zone 6. So I just use the USDA because it makes me feel better about myself. But so the USDA growing zone charts are about your winter, how cold it gets in the winter. Whereas if you're going by the Canadian charts, they're a little
Mom,
bit more.
I'm putting these on here
Okay, that works
to
good.
make them tea.
The Canadian charts is a little bit more complicated and a little bit more nuanced. So it's like, but yeah, so it's about 1 degree, one zone difference, right? So I am a Canada
You
6
see this hat
Um,
we put in the finish.
I know you're talking very loud, Sam. But in general, I advise when purchasing perennials, make sure to know your USDA zone and to purchase according to your USDA zone, because I find in general when I go to buy plants in Canada, they're not labeled with the Canadian zone. They're so if you're like, oh well, this is like good to zone 6, like great, I'll buy that. They mean USDA zone 6, right? So I would always err on the side of buying to the USDA zone for plants labeled unless it's being specified that it's the Canadian zone. So, okay. But that was me getting distracted just because I wish someone told me that. Because I've killed a lot.
Does anyone have any Ian questions?
Okay, put in some Ian questions.
Because I'll be here for a couple minutes. And
then he'll answer the Ian questions, well, after, but so there's a minute to get them up while I finish just quickly. Okay, so I'm doing snapdragons. I'm trying them because the.
Hey, Mommy,
okay, perfect. I'm doing the snapdragons direct because I actually can put out seedlings in March of snapdragons without any issue, and then they grow at pretty much the exact same time. So if I plant snapdragons in the fall and they don't make it, it just means I'll know that they didn't make it because they would have died in January, and then I'll just have to start seedlings right at that time, and then so it's not a huge risk. Bachelor buttons, 100% direct seed, larkspur, direct seed. I'm not covering those. And then the other ones that I'm experimenting with are more. I know, Sam. I know. Thanks. That are the more perennial ones, right? So this year I'm doing Rudbeckia. I'm overwintering it, and the variety that I do is Indian summer, right? For some reason it feels like a brain fart. Oh, that's a good one because people were asking about the cherry trees. And then I'm doing feverfew. I'm planting feverfew pretty soon. And then I'm doing an experiment with Amy. Because it seems like it could overwinter. Because I have planted out carrots, which is basically like overwintering carrots, and had like a really early crop of like Queen Anne's lace. And then yarrow. I'm doing yarrow now, and I'm gonna plant it, and then when I'm done with it, I'm just gonna till it up and get rid of it.
Hey, Mommy, I used it too.
And that's what I think. That's what I think. Yeah, but feverfew for sure. I'm excited about that one. Okay, Ian questions. Okay, perfect.
Will I go back to chainsaw? Every 5 years I have to recertify my chainsaw ticket, and that's coming up. And it costs $800.
Hey, Mommy, what
yes,
have I
I'm still gonna do it.
Really? Even with your foot?
Yeah, I'll still do it. Like, because you never know, right? It is really good money, and there are a bunch of.
You're standing in front of the camera.
There's a bunch of jobs that I can do with it that are actually quite easy. But I don't really want to do the really dangerous stuff anymore. I just don't.
Like firefighting?
Well, I don't want to do firefighting because I burnt my lungs years ago in fall and burn, and so I don't like being around smoke. Sam, stop hitting the tripod, please. And yeah, so, but I'd still like to be able to keep my certification. It's good. It's good money if I go. Let's see here.
Oh, cherry trees. They're asking about the cherry trees.
Did my bouquet sell? Yes, it did. My bouquets always sell.
You're one. You did it once and it sold once.
You know, that's not the first time I made bouquets. In our first year,
they're not finished on it. They're in here for you.
The first year, I made a lot of bouquets, but
Really?
Well, not so many bouquets, but the jar arrangements.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we were doing those.
I find those easy, right?
Yeah, but I didn't like doing it. I don't really like arranging because, like, I have sausages for fingers. I don't have dexterity. I have strength.
Do you not know this?
My favorite flower, it would have to be zinnias. I really like the zinnia
Really?
bouquets. Yeah.
Not dahlias, not dinner plate dahlias, the thing that you threw a fit
I know.
about not
Well,
growing?
I obviously like dinner plate dahlias, but truth be told, I would rather see a bunch of zinnias at the market. The zinnias sell. The zinnias are really cool, and I love the
Mommy,
colors that they come
Oh,
in.
no, I
I
know your favorite. Ranunculus.
Ranunculus did sell
That
really
would-
well too,
Mommy,
but I still like the zinnia bouquets better.
White?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This feisty white.
Sorry, what was some of the
Okay, the cherry trees. Did you chop down the cherry trees?
No, I haven't taken them down yet. We just don't have time for things during
Mommy,
the
you don't know this
farm season.
white.
That's a lesson that we've learned a lot in the past. That's why this
You
year
don't know this
we're
fasting
hiring
whites
out
now.
more of the
You
tasks.
When you press this,
Yeah,
it's
but-
the white
Can you just keep your voice
stone
down, please?
and the
I know, baby. I know.
Sam gets really excited
it's
all the time.
He's actually helping me peel the garlic.
I know,
so-
he's a good helper.
Okay, but what's your plan for the
You're
cherry
my
trees?
big monster.
I have to figure out which ones I'm going to cut down. Because
I'm team.
I know. But I eat cherries all summer. And like when they're, I just like grabbing them and eating them all the time.
Yeah, but we talked about still having.
Yeah, the thing is they ripen at different paces. So if I kept some on one side and some on the other side, then I'd have cherries over a longer period of time. And so I think I'd like that. But I'm gonna take out a bunch in the middle, and then we've got places for more perennial flowers, which
I also want to take them out because we have a big irrigation job, and it would be easier to not have the cherry stumps to work around.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna have. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to dig those cherry stumps out. They're big. What were some of the other questions?
I don't know. The only one that I saw was because people kept asking about the tree. Oh, scroll up because they probably are keep doing
You're
stuff.
the
but you-
big-
No, this
on-
is down. Stop.
This
So
one
the farm
wants
stand,
to
we just have a friend who we hired to work on it, and he is, he's got other work as well, or vacations and stuff. So like it's a couple days here, a couple days there. Progress happens, progress stops for a little bit, but like we're getting close. It looks like a farm stand, starting to. It doesn't have shelves inside, but Serena painted it white.
People keep telling me. Multiple people told me they checked it out thinking it was open.
Oh yeah.
So that's how much, it looks enough that people have said they
Yeah.
pulled over and looked at it.
Yeah, I would expect early September is what I'm thinking, and I'm excited because you had a good video idea for it.
We do? News to me.
Well, we talked about it a bit. Tips? Do I get tips at the farmers market? Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah, people tip me.
You never told me this.
People tell me to keep the change all the time,
Really?
and I go, oh.
I thought only Leo was getting tips.
No, I get tips too.
Oh, I never got tips at the farmer's market. They love you more than me.
Yes. Tomato-based life form. Am I gonna take that as a question? Yes. That's the answer. Sorry, everybody. I'm bad with my fingers. Where did I get my plans for the walk-in fridge? I literally just tried to copy the way that they show you on the Coolbot website. If you just search Coolbot and you go to their thing, they have a how to build a trailer.
Yeah, they have a how to build it in a structure and also how to build it in a trailer.
Yeah, and we, our trailer didn't really work out exactly like theirs did, but we tried our best with the materials that we could find. Tractor. We have the walk behind tractor. We're talking about maybe getting like a skid steer or something to move dirt around. I could see maybe like a golf cart.
I'd like something with a forklift feature.
Yeah.
So
we can move pallets around.
Two other tours. You put the forklift on.
Yeah, exactly.
And
just like mine.
We could build.
And the bay to soup it off.
We could build this, like a skid that had sides on it, so we could fit lots.
Sam was saying he wants something where you can take it out and put a forklift, but also have a scoop.
Yeah.
Sam knows. That's exactly what we
We don't know exactly yet. We're not going to spend our money until we do know. Right now, we just, maybe we people are always like, oh, go buy a tractor, go buy this, go buy that. And it's like, yeah, those cost pretty much as we make farming in a year. So maybe not buying one right away isn't the worst idea.
How about this as an idea? I'm just spitballing. So, Kubota or Kubota, is that the company?
Well, I'm not going to tell you because I want to
Mommy.
It's
see.
Kubota. I can
Butcher
spell
the name
it.
some more times.
Is it? Well, then
Try
I'm
again.
already failing at my plan.
Just go back to Kubota.
Kubota, right?
Mommy.
Is that right? Okay, but so Kubota watches our videos and they're like, we love these videos,
Yeah.
and then they give us a free lease on a Kubota tractor.
Sam?
There's the dream.
Yeah.
We get a tractor for free, but one of those like tiny ones.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of material to move around. We don't have a lot of need for that type of thing. So, right now we're getting by without. Big projects? I was thinking about projects the other day. I'm like, once the walk-in cooler is done and we fix the trailer cooler and I get that new greenhouse up and I get all the other greenhouses moved up to where it's supposed to be, and we put up that shelter and I build that roof between the shipping containers.
Well, I have a list of two, because we bought a full size high tunnel, right? Like a greenhouse style high tunnel, double walled plastic. What is it? 30 by 70. So that is our fall job. And then my other one that I really want to get done in 2021 is the automated irrigation. We have the computer in. We have like half of the electrical
Wire
line run. All we need to do is connect it to the actual like,
Yeah, set up the valves and
set
stuff.
up the valves, right? So we're halfway done on that.
Yeah. Our friend who's working with us, I just said, like, if you want to just come and help until we get a bunch of these projects done, because we have to do a wash station as well.
I mean, that's not in 2021 for me.
It's not happening, no.
Yeah.
But that was originally possibly in the cards.
The employee really wanted that one to be done in 2021.
Yeah. So, that sounds like a lot of things, but it feels like we've worked our way through the 5-year plan. We're working our way through the 5-year plan pretty well. Then I also have to open up a bunch of ground. All that.
Yeah.
All that.
The farm expanding is doing good. The 5-year plan was always about profitability, and we currently are have spent way more money than we've made cumulative.
Yeah. Even with the YouTube.
Yeah, because we only made money on YouTube this year, really.
Yeah.
But YouTube can't count as the 5-year plan, right?
Well, no, not for the farm business specifically.
YouTube counts for Ian not having to go away for work.
Yeah.
Because YouTube can make us money because the farm doesn't pay the bills. And the plan for year 5 wasn't that the farm would pay the bills by year 5. The plan for the farm was that I would make more than I would working part-time at McDonald's. That was the long-term plan for the farm, always.
Yeah, it's not going to be it's going to be like a solid business, I feel. But it's not going to be like a get rich.
Yeah.
Business.
There's no commerce volatility in selling food. We're never going to run out of customers.
Yeah.
So the chat isn't showing at all because you've paused it.
Oh, really?
By doing that? Yeah, that's why I was saying that if you want it, people could, you could be all the way at the, there could be a million things there. Okay, there you go.
Sorry, we've been out of the loop.
I thought you had it paused because you actually were scrolling through.
Think about a bird tree for the...
No, treehouse for the kids.
Oh, okay. We talked about a
Hobbit house.
A hobbit house, piling up a bunch of dirt in the corner and putting some little tunnels and stuff underneath it for them. But we're not talking about. We don't have a lot of trees, so
We call their playground the treehouse.
yeah.
So we've like talked about a treehouse. But they they have like a little swing set thing.
Here's a good question. What time is it there?
Uh,
Quarter after.
We start the video at
7?
6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quarter-
so it's probably like
7:30.
7:30.
Mhm.
We're Pacific Standard Time. How much does a booth cost at the farmers market?
$40 a week, and then at the start of the season, you have to pay.
Like a $10 farmers
Yeah,
market
it's like
association fee.
Exactly.
Though we say this all the time, the cost of the farmers market isn't the fee. The cost of the farmers market is the fact that it's like a 12-hour day, right? So if you only think of the fee as the cost, then you won't be paying yourself for the work. And if you're not paying yourself for the work, then you should go get the part-time McDonald's job.
Yeah. Here's a good question. Anyone like this video? I'm kind of on the fence about it. I think it needs more Ian.
Well, I do agree. Every video needs more Ian.
Thanks, Bonnie. Great question. Okay, I'm lost. Any seeds or bulbs you want to try out next year?
There's always a list.
Yeah, I think
Oh, you're here. I can go teaser for the thing I said we were gonna do next week.
So.
Tell them what you're excited to try. Do you actually have anything?
Well, not exactly specifically, but Serena got a text the other day from somebody wanting like a $75 bouquet, and it's like we don't have any things to put together to make like this higher end bouquet. So I don't know. I think it'd be fun to.
I don't think we need to though, right? Because it's like, what are we gonna have? Like roses? We're never gonna grow roses, right? And like, I just said like dahlias. I'm like, I don't even know that I want dahlias.
I am Team Flower, so I will be pushing for more flowers.
Well, then you gotta take the cherry trees out so that we can put the peonies in.
Well, that's happening, but not till things are less busy.
This is what I got. So I was saying this is the company that I buy my wholesale plants and bulbs from. And they are Van Noort, but they're a Canadian company. So they're wholesale only, Canada only.
Yeah.
But this, I've been all excited because I've been waiting. This is their perennial book.
Lots of good stuff in there.
So this is like, I don't know. I'm not showing it off. Very
People
good.
have probably seen it.
And the cover isn't like super exciting because it's just kind of green. But
Hostas!
there's some stuff that I'm excited. This will probably make a bunch of people laugh, but I've been coveting the Solidago that grows only in the drainage ditches in town. I'm like, oh, I want it so bad. And they have plugs for it in the catalog. So might have to get some of that. Even though I don't really have a drainage ditch.
Yeah.
Okay, here, can I ask you a question?
Okay.
On the theme of what are you excited to experiment next year? Because I do a lot of the planning, right? And Ian obviously
I have input on
puts
everything.
input, right?
But I have other things to do as well, and so Serena can work out the plans.
Yeah.
And I can put my input in, and then if she's like, I don't like your input, I'm like, I don't actually care that much because I have other things to do as well.
Yeah.
And
and
she
you
can
trust
have
me.
Yeah, you can have the final say on like what we're planting, what we're growing. Sometimes I'll be like, I insist on this, and then
like the dinner plate dahlias.
Yeah.
Ian's and I was like, yeah, I'm fine with you having dinner plate dahlias.
Mhm.
They just don't make sense to grow to sell.
Yeah.
Right? And every single time we buy from the wholesale company, we buy treats for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like I buy the kids picked bulbs that they wanted, for the for
Okay,
the
so what's your
bulb.
question?
Okay, so my question is a GoFundMe. No, guys, we need to you guys all send messages
To what?
You're teasing.
No, I'm not teasing you.
Okay, you say it then. Since if you're not teasing me, you say it.
I don't have to. I've said it many times before.
You're teasing me then. You're being mean.
It's Kabuto.
Kabuto. No, it's not. It's Kubota, right?
Kabuto.
You are teasing me. You're being mean. You're making fun of me. You're trying to get the internet to join you in making fun of me.
Yeah.
They already know I pronounce everything wrong, so none of them are surprised. No, but you guys, go tell them you want to see one of their tractors on our farm. And
Yeah.
they'll sponsor us. Because lots of people get free
Yeah, lots of people
leases.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they're on the highway. I drive by their dealership and I'm like, could you imagine? But that's like, we have 250,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I really don't think that's ever going to happen.
I think we maxed out.
Okay, here, sponsorship wish list. This isn't the question.
Oh, okay. This is an idea that I haven't talked about it on the live stream yet, but my ultimate sponsorship dream, because I don't actually, I don't really want to have sponsorships that don't make sense with, what we are and what we do and what we know. It's not like I want to just be selling, here's a new radio thing.
Yeah, no.
It's like things that we would buy that we would use specifically or that we already do. Like those are the types of companies that we want to work with. But even then, I'm like, sponsorships, take it or leave it. Because, I like doing the vlogs and they don't always make sense in context. It's hard to work one in. So this is what I was thinking. I was like, because this is just like a creative idea. And I was like, I don't even know if it's like you give the money for charity or something like that. But we auction off these 15 seconds of time for one of our videos where you guys, the audience, can film whatever they want. You could be like, you win the auction, and then in your little 15 seconds, you're like, I'm gonna show off my garden, and then you show it off, or you're like, I'm gonna tell a joke, or whatever it is. It has to be happy fun content, but I love the idea of just the randomness, right? The pick you, do this, and to see what somebody would come up with. I think it's like a fun idea.
There's now we know how to integrate Kubota, Ian's crazy Kubota-torium. That's the obvious.
Yeah.
That's the obvious way to integrate.
But my dream sponsorship is to auction off 15 seconds of time.
So there's no companies that you'd want to work with?
I don't know.
Other than you're also you also agree that it would be great if Johnny's wanted to sponsor us.
Obviously. I really like there's not a lot of, I try not to be too materialistic and attached to things. I had a bicycle that I really liked as an object. And then I really like this one shovel that we have that has been with me for a long time.
You do love that shovel.
I love that shovel because I have done such mean things to it, and it's still all together. And it's by some company called Structron, I think is what it is. The all of the writing is worn off of the handle for me because it's like a fiberglass handle, and so I bought another one because I was like, what if
Ian had nightmares that it would break.
Yeah, and
I had a bad dream.
And then it was the start of the pandemic, and you can't get anything anymore. And so I guess if I could work with anyone, I'd work with that shovel company. And I'd finally do my video where I just dig a hole.
This is the video Ian wants to make.
Yeah.
Ian has amazing video ideas, but he also has really bad ideas. This specific one.
No, digging a hole video is a great idea because then it's like, okay, well, you're digging a hole. What does the video become about? Does it become a spiritual journey?
Exactly.
Because I was like, I'm going to dig a big hole. Because how often do you just say to yourself, how big of a hole could I dig if I actually tried?
Well, Ian,
in one day,
you get a good enough.
What can I do?
You get a good enough money offer from your shovel company.
Yeah.
And I give you permission. Last year Ian made a video that was all about the tools that he likes.
Yeah.
And it was very random, and like none of them are good for gardening.
Yeah.
But I let you make that video. Yeah.
Once the growing season stops, then I think that our focus on garden vlogs, like harvest
when you're
vlogs,
done on
we'll
your
loosen.
cell phone, can I play on it?
Yes, you can play, but 5 more minutes, Sam.
When the
Okay,
baby
so
can I have
here
the cell phone?
is my question for Ian, because the "Who do you want to sponsor you?" wasn't actually a question.
No.
The question is, so I know you don't like have a list of things for the future. That's like me, like making the list for next year. But you are super active in like what we do grow for the year. So what has been really exciting for you this year, and why?
Well, shishito peppers.
Yeah.
Are like, best new thing of, for one thing.
I think it's time to give a shout out to Laughing Crow Farm if you're going to talk about shishitos, so more people go and check them out.
Well, we've been eating them. Serena fries them up with like oil and salt, and they're so good. So it's fun that way. But people either know about them or they don't. And, most people don't really know about them. But when they do, they're like, "Oh my God, you got shishitos! Yeah!" They're like, "Party time!" And some people are really stoked on them. And
We've made money. We for sure.
Yeah.
They're profitable.
I've had markets where we've like sold out of them.
Yeah. And even when you don't sell out, they're a profitable crop. Like,
Yeah.
They're on the list for in the future.
For sure. And I like handling them.
Yeah.
They're just fun. They're cute. They look good on camera.
Yeah. So for Laughing Crow Farm.
Well, what do you want to say about them? They grow shishitos.
So they like.
Are they the ones who inspired you to start?
No, but when we first started having shishitos, and Ian was on the fence. Ian was like, because we've tried hot peppers in the past.
Yeah, well, peppers didn't sell.
Yeah. So he was like, he was not sure about the shishitos. But right when we were bringing them to market, I'm like, oh my God, when we grow up, maybe we'll be like as cool as Laughing Crow Farm, except for we never will, because they have this like beautiful 40-acre farm. And we'll always be tiny and pathetic. But you guys should go check them out. They're incredible. Their farm is just incredible.
What are you getting at?
But so at the same time that we started bringing them, they like in like one of the farm groups that we're in, were like, you guys gotta grow these shishitos. They like grow so good, and like customers love them. And so I was like, well, there you go. If they say we should grow them.
Yeah. Well, I like growing peppers, but at the same time, they are a bit of a slow seller. Some people will come to the market with like a bag of peppers, and they'll be like worth nothing. And so, people don't always want peppers. But I think that we still...
I think they're gonna sell better from the
roadside stand. There's a lot of stuff. The roadside stand totally changes the game, because the customer that's shopping at the farmer's market and the one that shops at the stand is completely different. And even if all those stupid people come and vandalize our roadside stand, and I have to rent a skid steer and drag it down into the parking lot, which is what I ultimately think will happen. And then we have to have it somewhere where we can watch over it more. Even if that's what happens, just having a place where we can merchandise like 7 days a week, out of the sun, out of the heat, just having that as a setup, we can bring people then we can start advertising, being like, I know it's kind of weird, you got to pull it down our creepy driveway, and then like...
But lots of people do around here. Lots of people have the farm stands on their property.
Yeah. It's just the entrance to our driveway is kind of like an awkward, like it kind of comes up onto you, and then it's kind of like narrow. So it can be an awkward thing to pull into if you're not like giving it the right angles and stuff. So I think people don't always like coming down.
And we are gonna have like a camera, but the reality is a camera to catch people stealing from it isn't like, it's in no way gonna stop people from stealing from it.
Yeah, like
And
how
it's
are we
just-
even
it's
gonna
just-
know the difference between somebody who stole and somebody who paid with an e-transfer?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You know, I mean, the thing would be that we'd like see people like, you know, I mean, I guess you would know someone who stole if they came and they swiped everything,
Yeah,
right? If they came and left with like armful, like they left with like, you know, 5 bouquets and didn't do anything, right?
yeah,
For me, I'm not worried about product getting stolen out of the farm stand, because you would have to steal so much product before it starts to, you know, be an issue.
yeah. You know,
For me, it's more about the stand itself getting wrecked. If someone kicks in the door, it's like $300 to fix the door, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's money that has to be paid. If someone comes and like takes 5 flower bouquets, sure, it's $100, but you know, it wasn't like
you have
if-
to go
if-
pay $100.
if 5 flower bouquets didn't sell, it would be the same as them getting stolen. So
Yeah, and we also look at it like we're not manning it. We're not going to put labor into it. So, you know, you could almost say $15 an hour it would cost to have someone there selling to make sure that nobody stole. So you could lose $15 an hour and still be kind of like,
yeah, totally.
you know.
You know, there's kind of 2 customers that shop at the farm stands around here. And the one is people who, like, and this is the customer that we're trying to cultivate. It's a customer who is excited about local food. You know, they prioritize local farm fresh food over grocery store food because it tastes better. And they're like willing to pay what it costs to get that. You know, which is very much the customer that we have at our farmers market, which is the reason why selling there makes sense. But there also is the customer who is going around to farm stands because they're trying to find like cheap, like, you know, like no one can make money on it produce.
Yeah, they're like, I'm canning this and I want $1 billion for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And like we don't sell bulk tomatoes because it's too expensive for us to grow tomatoes. So we don't sell bulk tomatoes because our price for our tomatoes is so high that no one would want to pay it, right? Our tomatoes are like a treat. But yeah, so I suspect we're gonna run into issues on the farm stand of those people who are coming, like wanting to get the cheap veggies. Who are gonna come into the farm stand, and because I've had people pull down the driveway and like I'm like, oh, this is what I have, this is what everything costs, and they've been like, well, you're never gonna sell anything. Like, who do you think you are? Like, just like people have been like, you know, straight up like rude, and it's like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you know, I know I'm not gonna change my price because you don't like it, right?
Mhm.
Like, but those people I think are gonna pull over, are gonna look at the prices and be, because obviously someone who's gonna like tell me off at my prices is also gonna be someone who just take the stuff and be like, well, they don't deserve that. I'm gonna pay what it should be, right? So we'll have people who like will come and be like, $20 for a bouquet. That's you can have $5 and you better appreciate it, right? I think we'll have a lot of that kind of stuff. But you know, I'm willing to put up with that.
Yeah.
To be able to provide to the customer that we're targeting, right?
I got some beets on the stove.
Okay, well, what else other than shishitos? Because we'll finish it up with.
Well,
Is shishitos the only thing?
no, I want new heirloom tomatoes.
Yum yum.
What do you mean? This is like your wish
Yum
list?
yum. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, first of all, everyone said
I gotta go check them.
we're definitely not. But that's one of the that's a list for things that we won't that I won't listen to Ian because so that we grew more varieties of tomatoes last year, and the only one that sold was the pink Berkeley tie-dye. No one wanted the other varieties that we had, and everyone said that the pink Berkeley tie-dyes were the best tasting tomato at the farmers market. So we're not, we already are growing the best, so we're not gonna stop growing that. Tomatoes don't make sense though. Like, you can't make any money selling tomatoes for $1 a pound, and they're really hard to sell for anything more than that. But we're tomato-based life forms, so we're obviously not gonna stop growing tomatoes because we need tomatoes. But I'm happy to grow a lot of the Juliet tomatoes and a lot of the cherry tomatoes. Because those do sell well, and people, it's one of those things, right? Like tomatoes in the grocery store are like $2.99 a pound, and like that's just what they cost. But when you try to sell them for those prices at the market, sometimes they quibble about it. But everyone's used to paying $5 for a basket of cherry tomatoes, so no one ever complains about our price on the cherry tomatoes. So it makes sense to sell those. Okay, but we have to get going. So we have the vlog that we're working on. So that's, maybe Wednesday. I'm feeling like we can get it done tomorrow. But no promises. Might be later. But Thursday at the very latest. And then we also have a couple other videos in the works. I don't know when they're coming out. We haven't done our August farm tour yet. But so we have that for sure coming up. And then we have a really fun one that we're excited about. It's going to be flowers at night. It's going to be like the flower farm at night. Because we were playing around with the camera and it looks really cool. So it's just fun to see them like so dramatic looking with the the night light. And then I should totally work on getting that cool flowers video done. But that would at very very earliest that would be next week. And we'll be back. We'll do the live again next week. And I think maybe maybe we'll talk about ideas for like the perennials, because I've been mentally making a perennial wish list. So maybe we'll talk about how the perennials went and what I hope to expand with next year. That might be a fun idea. Okay, well, thank you so much, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. I know we obviously didn't get to everyone's questions, but hopefully they answered some people's questions. And we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.